Hey guys, welcome back to Adlib Talk, and this is my review for Capone. Capone, starring Tom Hardy and directed by Josh Trank, focuses on Capone's final year. He's plagued with syphilis and dementia, and he suffers from memories of his actual brutal past, which start to become blurred into his present. Meanwhile, the FBI continue following Capone's every move. Firstly, to see if he's faking all of this or not, and secondly, to see if he will ever expose the location of the millions of dollars he had hidden away from everyone.
Do you know what the difference is between Adolf Hitler and Al Capone? Hitler's dead. Capone lives like a king in Florida.
He has full-blown dementia.
I have reason to believe it could all be an elaborate act.
What's this about?
We have information that your client may have tucked away a very large sum of money.
Okay, so let's start off with what the hell did I just watch? I got into this movie with all the wrong expectations. My impressions prior to this movie, prior to watching this movie, were that it was going to be some kind of exciting FBI investigation into Capone after he was released from prison. As they try to work out if he was faking all of this, as they try to work out where the actual money is. But I mean, that's sort of part of the story, a very small part of the story. But the main focus of the movie was Capone and his physical decline. And what we get most of the movie is spent seeing Tom Hardy farting, pooping, pissing his pants, and smoking a carrot. I mean, the marketing for this movie was a little off in that regard. Now, with the actual product, we got, was it good? No. Okay, let me be clear. I did not enjoy this movie. This was a massive wasted opportunity, in my opinion. So let's start off with the only positive of this movie, which is Tom Hardy. And listen, I love Tom Hardy. He's a great actor. He's dedicated, and he really transforms himself into a role completely. And in many cases, you can barely recognize it is actually Tom Hardy in his many roles. And it's the same thing here, right? His body transformation is very impressive. Now, the guy can really act, but everything else that is going on around him is so dull and so boring. It's clear Hardy loves the physicality of his roles. And it's, as I said, it's clear here, but sometimes, listen, it does go a little overboard, right? At certain moments. But there are also some very memorable moments, some very memorable Hardy moments, please. No, that is very important. One in particular was the Wizard of Oz scene. Now, there's a scene where Capone is watching the Wizard of Oz, and there's a scene involving some singing, and he stands up and he starts to sing with the light reflecting onto his face. It's a good scene, right? It's a good scene, and it evokes a certain emotion. But the man is also very capable of evoking emotions through his eyes. There are certain scenes where he's just, sitting back and staring at the camera, and his piercing gaze is brilliant. It really evokes true emotion, and it shows that the man has had a lot of experience of evoking emotions through his eyes. So that was very good. But that's where all the good ends, right? Now, let's move on to the negatives. Brace yourselves. There's a lot. So starting off with, why should I care about anything that is going on in the movie? Tell me, why should I care about anything, right? The movie never gives me any kind of reason to care about anything that is happening. There is a reason why usually the final days of a gangster are relegated to the ending, right? To the final scenes of gangster movies. Take, for example, The Irishman. The Irishman is a brilliant example of how to pace and how to order a gangster movie. Now, we've seen what the gangster has been through. We've seen the evil actions. We've seen the horrible moments. And then we get to experience their final moments before their demise. And by then, we sort of care about the character. But in Capone, we have seen nothing about Capone actually doing any evil stuff. We've seen nothing about him at all except for farts, poops, and piss. I've been given no reason to care. Secondly, the tone. The movie's tone is completely off. I do not know if this was meant to be a parody. Was I supposed to be laughing at a 47-year-old man with dementia and syphilis? Honestly, I don't know. So the tone is off completely. Now, the hallucinations. The hallucinations, I know, were supposed to generate some more interest into what's going on and add some excitement to it, right? But they ended up making the movie confusing. And listen, I know you'll be thinking maybe that is the whole point of it, right? To blur reality with hallucination. But honestly, it just doesn't work. It's just one great mess. Many movies have done this blurring of reality and what isn't real much better. And that means that this movie carries absolutely no tension at all. And listen, this is a 1 hour 40-minute movie. I've watched movies which are much longer, which maintained their grip onto me, right, and wouldn't allow me to turn away from the screen. Take, for example, again, the example of The Irishman. Now, this movie is 1 hour 40 minutes, and I checked my mobile 3, 4, 5 times, I'm sure, to see what the time was and how long this movie still had left. That is not a good sign. Now, I also want to comment about what I thought was the whole point of the movie, which is the $10 million, which Capone hid somewhere. Now, did the director forget about that plotline at the end, or was it just supposed to be an unsatisfactory ending to that plotline? I mean, please give us something to enjoy. I mean, this is not an enjoyable movie. And actually, come to think about a plotline, is there actually a plot in this movie? Does something actually happen in this movie at all? Finally, some characters are truly underdeveloped. We've got May, who is criminally underutilized in this movie. Capone's wife should have been the character with whom we emotionally resonated with. And that is completely removed from this movie. What a waste of the amazingly talented Linda Cardellini. And same thing for Matt Dillon. Listen, you've got Matt Dillon in the movie. Use him. Make us care about his character. But instead, he's just another random, image in Capone's head. It doesn't work, okay? It just doesn't work.
Guys like you own this place, $10 million.
Maybe I can get him to talk.
He's gonna go on a rampage.
So, in conclusion, Capone is a dull take on what should have been a fascinating character. With nothing actually happening in the movie, underdeveloped side characters, tonally off, never emotionally engaging, and lacking any kind of tension. The movie is only somewhat saved by the great performance by Tom Hardy. And for that reason, I shall give Capone a 1.5 out of 5. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that review. I did not enjoy that movie, as was clear from the review. Please comment below telling me what you thought about this movie, whether you enjoyed it or whether you disliked it just like me. Thanks again, and see you guys next time.
The only thing that really matters is how a man treats his family.